Fantastic.
So let's kick things off as we always do with our story of the week.
Well, my story of the week is about, well, it's slightly different actually. It's about a cartoon. It's about the NHS. And it's a cartoon that was in The Guardian, which is a national London-based newspaper in the UK. And it's about Margaret Thatcher rising from the grave and giving advice about the NHS, which I think is fantastic. What a fantastic idea. And, this is a woman who effectively wrecked the NHS. And you've got all this stuff about junior doctors in England having a controversial deal imposed on them. The Welsh situation, the NHS is controlled from Cardiff Bay, so it's different. But the English NHS, England is so much bigger. It's 50 million people, and the English NHS is massively important. And I just think this cartoon is fantastic.
It is, and it's over our shoulders right now as we sit here and chat. But I couldn't help think of what it would be like to have a zombie Margaret Thatcher rise from the grave.
What's a horrible
and
thought?
Eat David Cameron's brains.
Oh God.
Well, my story of the week goes back to the United States, to one of my favorite sports, and indeed one of my favorite people. Tennessee's women's basketball program fell out of the top 25 in the rankings for the first time since 1985. And back in 1985, they had a prolific basketball coach, a woman by the name of Pat Summitt. And she did more than just coach the game of basketball. She taught women how to be professional women. And I was living in Nashville, Tennessee for about 6 months when her book came out. And I went to a signing to get her to sign it for me. And I asked her, I said, could I just bring my then very young daughter to you and have you raise her until she gets to about 19, 20? Because I know that she'll come out just fine. And she laughed.
She didn't sign her, did she?
She didn't sign her. But, it is a shame to see happen. Pat had to retire because of early onset Alzheimer's. So not a pretty situation, but raising a tribute to Pat Summitt. And it's hard to believe that any team for 31 years could stay in the top 25. But Tennessee was a class act.
Well, it's obviously down to her, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
That it was up there, and that is now no longer.
Yeah. And it's a shame to see it happen, but you knew it was going to happen eventually. All great teams eventually fall.